The clock is ticking for XRP. In the next 48 hours, potentially even 24 hours, XRP will begin its pump towards the $27.91 in XRP, starting with the conclusion and settlement of the Ripple SC lawsuit. In fact, this information is confirmed and has actually become a fact as the SEC and Ripple Labs resettlement in XRP case. A joint motion in the Southern District of New York, agreed by Ripple Labs and the SEC, terminates the injunction against Ripple and releases $120 million in escrowed penalties, with Ripple only having to pay $50 million to the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, and the rest of the money completely returned back to Ripple Labs, marking a major victory to both Ripple Labs and its team. Now, of course, this is only the start, as the United States of America revealed a new document that the Trump administration has clearly mentioned and highlighted in addition to pave the way for XRP to continue to increase in value. This is done by allowing a clear green light for financial institutions, bank, and all other institutions to actually use XRP with zero restrictions, and soon also use RLUSD, the XRP Ledger built stablecoin, without any restrictions, allowing it to literally skyrocket. We're talking about massive demand flowing into XRP and the XRP Ledger, and because of its very low supply, a massive price increase. And in fact, Donald Trump, the President of the United States of America, declared it publicly on live TV that he wants crypto, specifically cryptos like XRP. They matter because if we don't lead, China will. I'll roll the clip for you guys listening closely.
I want crypto. I think crypto is important because if we don't do it, China's going to. You better go out and buy stock now. Let me tell you, this country will be like a rocket ship that goes straight up. This is going to be numbers that nobody's ever seen before. That's a very important element of all of this. You know, if we get that, if you don't, and the Democrats are fighting it only because they want to fight. They have Trump derangement syndrome. You know, if it was somebody else, they wouldn't fight. If you had a normal person and some stiff sitting behind you, they'd be fine. But they have Trump derangement syndrome. You know, Senator Schumer's become, I don't know when they're going to give him the ceremony, whatever the ceremony may be. It's terrible what's happened to the Democrats. So very, very important element of everything, of what we're doing, unrelated to today, but related in the sense that we'll do, if that passes, we'll do even more business with the UK. We'll have so much.
Now, real quickly, as we talk about XRP, there is money that is about to be made. We're talking about XRP being valued at potentially hundreds of dollars, maybe even thousands of dollars. But the way to go about this is to get yourself some XRP for free. This is why we partnered with Uphold, to give every single person watching this video literally free XRP. You just have to like, comment, subscribe to simply enter, and you must sign up on Uphold using my link in the description and do a transaction. Could be any amount, 1 penny, $1, $10. But this is your golden opportunity to get free XRP. It takes less than 5 minutes and it's absolutely free money. I also want to mention a new project, Realy, building on the XRP ledger, tokenizing over 654.39 trillion USD onto the XRP ledger, where rumors suggest that $144.81 per XRP will occur once launched. This is how high the price of XRP can be. And in fact, Realy has successfully completed phase 1 of its blueprint for the tokenization process of $654.39 trillion on the XRP ledger. To celebrate this massive milestone, they've launched an XRP giveaway, and it's actually very easy to enter. Just simply follow them on Twitter/X, post a tweet with Realy XRP and tag Realy team, and like and retweet this post. I've already done it, but this is your chance to literally make yourself an absolutely ton of money, ton of XRP, for free with, again, not spending a dime. So make sure you follow Realy team on X/Twitter, and of course, share it, retweet. This is massive for XRP and the Realy tokenization project, which is built on the XRP ledger and is onboarding millions of users by the day. In fact, let's talk a bit about Realy. Realy is designed to be the global AIM solution for real estate built on the XRP ledger completely. Realy is actively engaged in strategic discussions with numbers of institutions to facilitate the future adoption of both XRP and the upcoming Real token. Powered by Real and developed on the XRP Ledger, Realfi will leverage XRP Ledger's speed, scalability, and low-cost infrastructure to deliver a universal, fast, and efficient payment solution for the global real estate and rental market. Designed to streamline real estate transactions worldwide, Real will serve as a next-generation digital asset purpose-built to enable seamless property-related payments with trust and efficiency. Realfi is targeting the integration of a near $654.39 trillion global real estate market into the blockchain ecosystem, positioning itself as the forefront of tokenized real estate on the XRP ledger. Realfi has become so huge that after that announcement, a whale bought over 250 million XRP worth over $500 million, and the price didn't flinch. No whip, no pump, no excitement. This is the concept. We are seeing millions of dollars, billions of dollars in fact, of XRP being purchased, but it's for a reason. And while XRP's price may not reflect the massive boost in volume right now, there's something on the back end that this massive whale knows that we don't. And it actually could be the mass adoption that it's unfolding for XRP, and with the massive amount of value and volume that Realfi is about to bring onto the XRP ledger, tokenizing literally all the real estate in the world onto the XRP ledger. This could potentially bring XRP to $130. In fact, MNX says XRP is going to $130 this cycle, and it may actually be what ends up happening as we see again further volume, further institutions all jumping on board the XRPL and trying to actually use it because of how efficient it is. In fact, more recently, the United States of America officially approved XRP for institutions. Again, this is a massive step towards adoption. We did hear that Arthur Bridges, the co-founder of both XRP and Ripple, announced publicly that XRP was designed for $10,000 and must be scalable to accommodate 7.5 billion people, which at the time he was hinting at the global population. Regulatory clarity is here. XRP is now greenlit for institutional adoption. This could be the biggest milestone yet for Ripple and the entire XRP ecosystem. I want you guys to take a quick second and really listen closely to this video. It says Federal Reserve Chair Jeremy Powell says banks are perfectly able to serve crypto customers, hinting at XRP.
Our role with Bitcoin really is to look at, with crypto, really is to look at the banks, and you know, we think it's, you know, banks are perfectly able to serve crypto customers as long as they understand and can manage the risks, and it's safe and sound. As many of our, a good number of our banks that we regulate and supervise do that. You know, the threshold has been a little higher for banks engaging in our role.
Now, I want to generally conclude by going over the 4 key prices that you need to keep on your price charts. Specifically right now, where we see the real price of XRP as a high number. We're getting Forbes saying between $50,000 and $60,000 for XRP. Wells Fargo saying other numbers, also within the tens of thousands of dollars. And then we're getting analysts projecting $20, $30 in the next week. Potentially in the next 48 hours, we start to see that nice pump. So let's take a look at the 4 key prices for XRP that you need to keep on your price chart. We'll begin with $27.91 in XRP, and this we talked a bit about. We said it basically this because of the Ripple ST lawsuit. Once settlement comes to place, we'll see a massive boost and skyrocket. And obviously, we've seen it theoretically almost conclude. I think there's just a day or two left, and then you end up the settlement, and then we'll see that pump, which is why in 48 hours we'll likely begin seeing that skyrocket with that nice pump for XRP. Price number 2 is $144.81 in XRP. This comes with the real estate tokenization process. Now, obviously, we talked a bit about Realfi, which is leading the path in tokenization of real estate on the XRP ledger. Really, once they start the tokenization process, we'll see it boom to $144.81. Now, again, once they completely tokenize the entire real estate market, that's a different story. Then we're looking at $11,000, $12,000 per XRP. But for now, once they start, we're looking at still in the early hundreds. Next is a Ripple IPO and obviously a mass institutional banking partnership. This mass institutional banking partnership and a Ripple IPO will likely trigger the price of XRP in the thousands of dollars, because at this point, you have the combination of the Ripple ST lawsuit settlement, you have the combination of the real estate tokenization, and maybe at that point, they've tokenized a quarter or maybe like 10% of the real estate market. and you get a Ripple IPO, and you have the global banking partnerships officially occurring. All of those together will trigger a $3,542 per XRP price bump, and that will be the price of XRP. And last but not least, this is really on the globalized scale. This is really all of the money being facilitated right here. We are looking at tens of thousands of dollars, in this case, $57,590 in XRP. This is actually something that Forbes has also mentioned. There's an article that was released that highlighted that XRP is the next Bitcoin, and it's going to 59,000, I think 472 or something around those numbers. But the concept is this is the real number of XRP with that global scalability, with that global CBDC integration. This is really all the banks agreeing that they will use XRP as a means of cross-border payments to facilitate settlement of payments instantaneously. And again, this is working along RLUSD. RLUSD will be facilitated. The XRP ledger at that point will have substantial growth. We'll see it actually surpass the market cap of XRP, surpass the market cap of Ethereum. So XRP will not be in the number 2 spot, maybe even the number 1 spot, surpassing Bitcoin. But obviously what we're talking about here is this is long far off, tens, maybe, 5-10 years from now, while the rest could be as early as in the next year or so. So overall, I'm going to conclude the video here. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel with notifications, and share this video. As well as don't forget to follow me on all my social media platforms. Subscribe to my second channel, the Mighty Crypto channel. Like, comment, follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.